but it's going to take a full scale cooperative. You're going to have to first the mecca of it will probably have to start in Africa. Many of these black nation states in Africa are going to have to nationalize their resources. And unfortunately, until they do, they're gonna constantly be at the beck and call of the Chinese now, the IMF, etc. Um, right now, you have South Africa, which is an emerging economy. It's a part of BRICS. Well, why would South Africa be a part of BRICS? Why wouldn't South Africa create its own monetary collaboration within Africa with other African countries? Instead of joining BRICS, which is Brazil, um, China, India. What's the other one, sir? It's Brazil, Russia,
China,
China,
China.
and it.
Yeah. Was it
Why?
Do we say China?
Yeah, China. Why collaborate with that? Why not collaborate with other African nation states? And it's because, again, I gotta say it's a mindset of just not working together. You know, so it's a global cultural problem that goes outside of Black American culture. It's I don't know, man. I think it's genetic.
Oh, dang.
I have my theories on it. Um,
Did you
but
say
I don't
genetic?
want to I don't want to over talk. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, 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 no. This is an interesting thing because listen, God rest his soul, Kevin Samuels.
Hmm.
The last 3 to 4 years with black men, the
Yeah.
biggest, hottest conversations have been all about, how can we get our women realigned? And to a degree, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. But the other side of that question to me is realigned to what?
Well,
What what
women.
what do we
I'm
have
sorry.
as a what do we have as a collective that we can go to? Now our women have made some horrible decisions, no doubt about that. But where, as a mass, do we have where we can pull our women out of the corporations, out of white men's corporations? Where can we pull them out, give them the security that they give their women? We all work for the white man, all of us.
Well, there are very successful black architectural firms, asset management firms, auditing firms, tax firms in this country. There are a lot of blacks who dibble and dabble in supply chain as independent suppliers. So, to say that we all work for white people, I don't know. I guess that's subjective. I guess, that may be your opinion. But, with the network of black elites that are particularly in the Divine Nine, members of the Black Greek fraternities and sororities, you're talking about millions of people who have a common I guess allegiance. And so to progression or to be progressive. And so you would think that uh, members of Alpha Phi Alpha, members of Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, Delta Sigma Theta, all the Black Greeks fraternities and sororities would collaborate and these build these institutions just solely based for a black economic base. Black people have a $2 trillion spending power.
Yes,
That's if that was a country, we would be number 7 or number 8.
we
So
we will be
so with
larger than Russia.
yeah. So with all the black businesses in the country, you would think that, hey man, why don't we start our own auditing firm? Why we don't have to use KPMG or one of the big three auditors. We could create our own big three and just utilize our own services. But we don't think like that. So unfortunately, until the black man creates these institutions, we're gonna have to just work for Whitey.
Yeah, this is a very difficult conversation for a lot of black men to wrap their head around because we're singularly focused on things that are not productive to us, especially those of us
Hmm.
who are out here in this relationship thing and trying to figure out how to realign families, get families again. We're out here at war with our women, over this stuff, and we don't have enough of us, thinking more strategic and more big picture about what is actually needed,
Mm,
for the comfort. Our women, they complain about stuff about us, and we, got ways to knock it down, but they're not entirely wrong when they talk about, them not feeling completely secure with us. They're not entirely wrong, in that argument. I think the argument's a little bit misguided, but they're not entirely wrong. And for us to continuously as men sit around here and complain
mm,
about what the white man ain't giving us, about what we ain't doing, when we actually look, if the data from blackdemographics.com is true, which would indicate that roughly around 54% of black men earn enough money to be, or that are single and earn enough money to be in middle class, and you in the $2 trillion worth of spending power, we have enough to be, like you said, the seventh largest nation in the
yeah,
world. But God, look, the dirty little secret is black men don't even like each other.
yeah. It's and there's. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Mm-mm.
Well, black men don't like each other, and one of my majors in college, TJ, I majored in, like most people, I have several underwater basket weaving degrees, and one of them is in African studies. And I wrote papers on this in college and used to get chased out of class sometimes. The reason why black men hate each other is because our primitive tribal behavior was never eradicated. Um, in Africa, there were, I mean, even to this day, you have tribalism. That's
Yeah,
absurd. You have countries like Nigeria that has 40, 50 different languages in the one country.
in one country. Yep.
It's literally the Tower of Babel in Africa. Thousands of languages. You still have groups in Africa, even though they're very small, that still live like it's the Stone Age. You have some groups who live like it's the agricultural age. So you have a continent that has emerging markets like Nigeria, but within Nigeria, you still have a level of backwardness with the Muslims in the north. You have places like Niger, the neighboring country, that literally looks like biblical times. You have places, um, that are desolate for the most part. Then you have places that are just totally. I mean, you have like the Maasai tribe. These people are still living like it's the year 1000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why the black man is not doesn't like each other, I think it runs deep culturally. We never were we never unified under a language, under one single banner, under one religion in Africa. So when the white man came over there, he just saw all these primitive tribal groups fighting each other. And one thing I could say about what happened in Europe, which it would appear to be from what I can see, is that the Romans, they went throughout trying to spread a certain level of high society, high culture. So they probably exterminated the inferior European groups. That's probably why we don't see European tribal groups anymore. You know, one of the things I've always said on my channel is maybe the bubonic plague was such a factor in eradicating certain Europeans that maybe you know they eliminated most of their degenerates. But unfortunately, in the black race, I would say it runs deep genetically.